Yes, it was never really in doubt for United tonight, despite going a goal down to CSKA Moscow. They will take their place in the last 16. Graham, what's your prognosis for their prospects for this competition?
You know, they're a handful for anyone to play. You know, the way the manager sets his team out, you know, they don't leave themselves open to counter-attacks. They always have plenty of people behind the ball. You just feel that the best teams would punish them, but they could give anyone a fright. You know, they could get it right on the night and give anyone a fright, but I think semi-finals at best for me.
Is the man we just saw there walking off the pitch, Jose Mourinho, one of the reasons for that, as Kevin says, the ability to get the team set up tactically perfectly for the big game?
Yeah. He's won it with Porto and he's won it with Inter Milan, two very unfashionable teams. This isn't a vintage Man United team just yet, but I think they could go and win it. I think they're a dark horse for the tournament.
I think they could win it?
Yeah, I think he needs to have maybe a decent January, but I think the core of the squad is good. It's not ripping with flair, but it's powerful, it's pacey. They made 6 changes tonight, still won it comfortably. They've won the group comfortably. They're looking for a favourable draw in the last 16, and Mourinho's been over the course and distance many times before.
They don't play a brand of football that gets you on the edge of your seat. Even the most staunch United supporter has to admit that. But what they do, they always have plenty of people behind the ball, and they've got genuine pace up front. So, you know, they can catch you on the break. There are concerns for them. I think the midfield mix is not right. Whatever players play in there, it's not right for me. And I think semi-finals at best.
A good night for Lukaku. You're going to talk about him in a bit more detail after the break, Neil, but we came into it, you know, questioning his confidence, questioning whether he was the big name striker, the big Manchester United striker. You didn't have any concerns before the match, and he justified that.
No, I think he's been playing well, and he's, like we highlighted at half-time, he's always getting in the right position to score. I think his link-up play is actually getting better. It wasn't great when he was at Everton. It's got a lot better. He looks so powerful and strong and quick and dynamic, and if he gets the right service, he will score a barrel load of goals. He made the goal tonight, you know, we'll see it later on. It's a nice clip ball in from Pogba, but he's so strong holding off the defender, and it's a deft finish. And I just like his demeanour. I'm glad he played tonight, I'm glad he scored, because that'll give him a huge boost for the big game at the weekend.
Absolutely, it's probably why he played, wasn't it? We're going to talk more with the lads after this break. 2 goals in 2 second-half minutes. Manchester United back in the last 16 of the Champions. Let's start with Lukaku, his overall night tonight, and just to reflect again on what we were talking about before the match. Was it a lack of confidence? Was this a game where, despite having City at the weekend, Mourinho wanted him to go out and get that goal to maybe ease that lack of confidence? Well, talk about his performance.
Maybe ease the pressure on him from outside. I think Mourinho's defended him from day one since he's had him at the start of the season. Got off to a great start in his Man United career. It stalled a little bit, but his game in general has been very, very good. And I think you saw at the end when Mourinho gives him a hug, I think that's Lukaku showing his appreciation for his manager. This was early on in the game, he lays it off. Now, he wants the ball in behind because he's got acres to go in through, and once he's in, you're not stopping him. Ball doesn't come quickly enough, he has to adjust. Now he takes it down on his chest, and there's only one thing in his mind, that's to hurt the defence. It's a beautiful run, beautiful slide rule ball, and that really should have been Man United up after 2. There's nothing wrong with his football there, his technique, his passing. This one we're highlighting, he's in the right area. He really maybe should score there, but he has to do a lot of work. He has to fight off defenders a lot. Look at this for strength. It's absolutely brilliant. You're not getting around him. He gets goal side of the defender. Lovely little floated ball in. The second goal gets up in the air. Now, that may look simplistic from the outside, but it's so effective. And in the end, they get the break. Great finish from Rashford for the second goal. But his link-up play was good. His willingness to run in behind is good. His willingness to take the ball in is good. And he gets his goal.
And that was quite a moment when, I mean, it was a real affectionate hug he gave Mourinho, who has stuck by him, has defended him in press conferences.
I understand why Mourinho is standing by him, because his play is good. Now, you're going to miss chances along the way, but now he's up to maybe 13, 14 for the season. That's a healthy return so far, and I think there's a lot more to come from this kid.
United fans sometimes query whether he's really absolute top quality in terms of his technique, Graham. Do you have any concerns about that?
No, he isn't top in terms of technique, but he's top in terms of strength and athleticism.
He brings other things to it.
And you've got to remember, he's not playing with the most creative midfield behind him. He's not, he's not got people slipping in with clever and cute passes a lot. And a lot of the time, I'm thinking back to the game at Liverpool, where he was a lonely figure up on his own. Mourinho's tactics sometimes means he's going to be isolated, a long way from his teammates, and it's it's a single challenge for him up there against 2 defenders, sometimes 3 defenders, and I'm a fan, and I would not be concerned in the slightest about Lukaku going forward. I think he'll get goals, as I've said already. Centre forwards like goalkeepers. How many games you play, how many goals you score, how many goals you concede. It's a black and white scenario, and I'm a fan of his. If I'm a centre back playing today, I would not want to be playing against him.
Someone you're not, you haven't always been a fan of is Mr. Pogba. Now, it has come up on this programme time and time again, and it's not a case that you're picking him out and victimising him. But Manchester United fans, there is a lot of blowback that you're not giving him credit for what he does, that you're not maybe understanding what he brings to the game, the modern game, if you like, that he's not that sort of central
modern game.
Yeah. So just explain your position on him and maybe talk us through his performance tonight.
I think when you watch him play, when he's on the ball, there's lots of things to admire. He's powerful. He's got good technique. He can wrong foot people. He can ping the ball. Where I question him and whether he'll ever be a top player is his understanding of the game. He's a central midfield player. We'll show some clips here. And, this is not me being an ex-Liverpool player caning a Man United player. I think, and I thought about it when he was at U of the same. He drifts out here to the right too much for me, for a central midfield player. Now, look at his effort to get back into the game there as a central midfielder. Him and Herrera were the 2 central midfield players. That boy with the ball was running away from him all the time. Again, he wants to get on the ball in the wrong areas. Look, let's run here. What's the central midfield player doing out there?
Does he not have a free role, though, Graham, in this United team? Is it not a case that you go and do your thing and let everybody...
No, that's set up. The way the system's set up, him and Herrera... Now, look at this one. Why is he gone out there, miscontrols it? He should have stood still, and the player then has to confront Daley Blind. No, he's way too early here. He's reading the situation. This could have cost him a goal. Where is he in the pictures? Edge of your box, central midfield player. Where is he? And this, for me, is a lucky boy. For me, he should have been sent off again. Watch this. Now, watch how he stop it. He's ignored the ball, completely ignored the ball. I'm going over, I know it's a bit rich coming from me, but a different game when I played. But that, for me, is another sending off. And this is a goal. Now, at no time here, his player is number 11. At no time is the right side of number 11. He's ball watching. Look at number 11. Look at number 11. Now, I'm sorry. That is basic stuff you learn when you're playing on a youth team. He's 24 years old. For me, if he's not got it now, when is he going to get it?
But, United fans will say, look, he's 6 assists in 12 games this season, which is as many as he had in 51 appearances last season. He is producing so much for them in an attacking sense that he's bringing so much to the team.
You've spent 100 million euros on a player, and you're going to accept he can only do the certain things a midfield player should do. For 100 million, you're buying someone that has to make the difference in the big games. He's yet to do that. He's not got a game by the scruff of the neck and been a dominant force and made the difference in a really big game yet for me. I see him scoring goals against lesser teams. I see him doing cute things against lesser players. But for 100 million, you are buying the finished article, someone that is completely going to dominate the big games and win you the big games. I don't see that in him. But what is more disturbing for me, if I was a United supporter, the things I've highlighted there, is his basic understanding of the position he hasn't got. And I don't see that improving.
Is it up to Mourinho then, and obviously, Neil, you played in this position as well, is it up to Mourinho to say, right, I can't expect him to do the things that Graham wants him to do, but look
why can't you expect him for £100 million?
Because the stuff he does do that contributes on the other end of the field is so good. We saw before the game, we looked at the stats.
I didn't see that tonight, Tommy. I didn't see that tonight. I know he set up the goal. For me, the goal was more about Lukaku than Pogba. And the amount of times you give the ball away cheaply under no pressure, tonight was very, very high percentage. Now, that is not what I'd want from a £100 million player. You compare him, and we'll make you compare Pogba to Paul Scholes in terms of goals, assists, running of a game, even De Roy in his head there, and it's night and day from what we're seeing. And Graham's right, he's got no tactical discipline on the pitch. And I do think he has got good qualities, but for £100 million, I'm expecting a lot more from him.
Okay, so is there a role for him, but not as that central midfield role, which is where he was playing tonight, as Graham says, alongside Herrera. This is the sort of summary of the heat map position there, so he's just slightly
He has to play in a 3.
So he has to have 2 behind him.
Well, either side of a holding midfield player with someone on the other side, like a Matic holding on maybe a Herrera or an attacking player. He cannot play in the 2. In big games, I would not play him in the 2 because he's so ill-disciplined. Yeah, I get that. But I only think he can play in the 3 the way he's playing at the minute.
Forgive me when you say there's so much at the other end of the pitch. How many goals has he scored this year?
I can find that out for you shortly now.
I think it's 3. Is it 3?
But he's contributed, as I said, 6 assists in 12 games.
You're playing for Man United.
But that's, I mean...
You think that's enough?
It's not bad.
I would say that's very close.
Well, if you look at the games in which he was absent, they dropped 8 points.
No, you can't judge him when he's absent. You can't judge him when he's absent. Just black and white figure. Everyone's mad for stats.
We also looked at the stats of with him in the team and without. There wasn't much difference, Tommy. It was a fraction of a difference.
One more game.
Yeah, exactly.
So they score more, but they concede more. They're more vulnerable.
They concede more.
Okay.
As a coach,
3 goals this season, I believe. Okay, I think we will come back to this topic.